Josh Campbell. I'm a student here, and I had a question actually for Mr. Goodell. You talked about focusing on Canadian families, and the stress on Canadian families is very evident, and it's increasing all the time, especially there's a Global Mail report about increasing work hours and lack of flexibility for families with their corporations. I just was wondering what the Liberal Party, or as someone who's representing our riding, you would do to lessen the stress on families, seeing that it's when families succeed, nations succeed, but it seems families are really dealing with a lot of pressure these days, and I don't know what kind of policies you're looking at to ease stress on families.
Well, I appreciate the question very much, because I think that lies right at the heart of this election campaign and what's at stake here. Is the allocation of the available resources of the Government of Canada to assist in reducing some of that pressure on typical Canadian families. And you've mentioned some of it. I can give you another couple of examples. Bank of Montreal did a study about a month ago saying that 2/3 of typical middle-class Canadian families do not believe today that they'll be able to afford to send their kids to post-secondary education. That is a horrendous statistic. We've seen over the course of the last several years our standard of living in this country basically flatlined, while the cost of living has gone up. Poverty among senior citizens has increased by 25%. So yes, indeed, the family pressures are there. You'll see in the platform that we released on the weekend a number of priorities to try to get to the root of that problem. Part of it is the plan for greater access to post-secondary education. Part of it is support for family care, where families are taking care of sick or aging loved ones at home today without much help at all from any form of public assistance. We would create a family care plan to help in taking some of those pressures off. We would work very hard to improve the pension system in this country. When people are constantly worried whether or not they'll be able to retire in dignity, it obviously adds to the family pressures. So family care, home care, the greater access to post-secondary education, those are the kinds of things where we would invest the resources of the Government of Canada to help families make ends meet, to have a greater sense of confidence and optimism about the future. And we think those priorities are more important right now than the jets and the jails and the extra corporate taxes.
Just quickly, would you consider reopening discussion on a national daycare program?
We have made a proposal in our platform to begin moving toward that objective. We'll establish a fund, $500 million to start with, rising over 4 years to $1 billion per year, to partner with the provinces to create new, affordable childcare spaces, high-quality childcare spaces, to make sure that parents have actually a choice, and not just a hypothetical choice on paper, but a real choice in their lives to be able to have access to childcare if that is what they think they need for their family. So the short answer to your question is yes, and we would start with this fund in our first budget.
I would just ask that follow-up questions, if we could make sure that they go into the mic. We've got some sound going into the camera, so for filming reasons, if we could make sure that they get into the mic, that would be great. Next question.
I was just wondering if maybe we could have an opportunity to comment on these questions. One of the challenges is that all the questions are for these folks, and we don't really have an opportunity to participate.
Sure, we can keep them to about 60 seconds.
Okay. From our point of view, we need to change actually the foundation of sort of the economy in our country. We can no longer, I think, afford a corporate economy that is built on resource extraction. I think we need to build a sustainable economy. And so in order to build families that can sustain themselves, you need to have an economy that is very diverse and broad. And that's going to require putting some kind of a leash on, or some kind of a bridle on corporate interests in this country, which means that the government is going to have to engage counter to the NAFTA agreement that they've signed, they're going to have to begin to control the way in which multinationals, big corporations work in this nation, because that's part of what's going on with the wages, is the wages are compared to places like Mexico and other countries like that. And I think that undermines the workers' ability to guarantee themselves a decent wage. So we need more diversity in our economy.